Hey, good morning everyone and welcome to the closing day of Cyber Future Summit. Day 3, we arrived here and ready to go. So, well, maybe we could have sent some more umbrellas back home, but I'm hoping that everybody can find themselves back and here and dry, keep them dry. So thank you for those who made it and thanks for joining us online. Today we really have another amazing day of sessions all through the day. And I would love to take you through a journey of twofold. One is our cyber workforce work, and the couple of sessions that we have today are centered around how can we work towards this next generation of cyber workforce. I think we talked about the problem quite a bit, but in terms of making a dent and actually working towards a solution, we want to make sure that we have a clear vision where we go there. I can assure you that there are leaders in this team who are already working on it and are ready for that. We are also going to have the mayor here this morning in a little bit, maybe another 30 minutes. So Mayor Nirenberg is going to be joining us around 9. Following that, we're going to talk about the next generation cyber talent following a really, I think, warm up fireside chat. We could actually use some fire here. So, it's okay. I'll not spill the beans. It's really warm and nice here. So please come up when your turn. So we'll have a fireside chat with Dan Victor, and that will follow up with Mayor's remarks, and Catherine, Dan, and Iman are going to join us for the conversation around next generation cyber talent. We then have a cybersecurity early education ethics and best practices. This is a pretty solid topic in terms of preparing our next generation of students, not only with the skills, but also the professional ethics that they need to follow to get to do their best and contribute to our profession. We take a quick break. Please, pay attention during the breaks. We are going to stream some of the messages that have come in from our partners and members, and we have some pre-recorded messages, and we want to make sure that they're heard. The next afternoon we'll go through Joe Sanchez's panel of resources and models for cyber workforce development. Then 2 fireside chats. One I'm really excited about is the one with Tim Brown, our CISO at SolarWinds. We have had many discussions before, and I think we want to make sure the members and this community hears about his experiences. And Bianca is going to be back. I hope you caught her pitch on the morning, on the first day. And we're going to talk about how is she working towards securing her organization. We have a message from the Department of Labor, our partners at the US DOL for cybersecurity apprenticeship program. And then that's going to be from one of their representatives. Then we have a set of crypto debates. In fact, one of the debates I heard here, they have been converted to a nice discussions. Pre-debate, they had a between Bob and Peter, they have arrived at a conclusion that both of their points are right. Only we have to address the outcome, which should be positive for everyone. Then you have back-to-back 2 debates on security, cybersecurity and emerging tech, and talent versus automation. I'm actually very interested to see how that turns out, especially on the talent versus automation. We close the day today with a very important topic that's close to everyone's business needs, and that's on cyber insurance in a dynamic threat environment. I think all the discussions that we have had here had some level of risk management, and which is very pertinent to the work we do. But cyber insurance as a tool has taken a turn, especially with all the ransomware issues that we have seen, and with the recent announcement in Lloyd. So with this, let's see if you can get the message from Kirill Gonchuk, CIO of Ukraine Telecom, streamed out. We were prepared for all eventualities. As you saw yesterday, Victor Zora had to really go to the bunkers to take this call with us. We didn't want to take any chances with Kirill. We asked him to just get recorded when he was available. So we recorded that and will be available for streaming outside as well. And Kirill has done a phenomenal job to and made some really hard decisions, as you'll probably hear from his message, about securing the telecom infrastructure, making it available, keeping the bad parts and the good parts, separately, which is a hard choice when you have to take out people's, subscribers' access. So I look forward to sharing that with you, and then we'll come back on stage for the discussion with Dan. So. Okay, I will just let the online streaming get ready and kick it off. Thank you again and welcome.
KL, welcome to the Cyber Future Summit 2022, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you a couple of times around the work that you're doing, and it's a story that definitely needs to go and be heard by our community members and broadly across the cybersecurity industry and generally the society. I know you have been in the first hand, on the front lines of cyber from the day one of the Russian aggression, and cyber has been on the forefront of this. So thank you for joining us and sharing your your thoughts and your personal experience. So welcome to the CFF annual summit, and take it away. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for your attention to Ukr and to Ukraine. We appreciate it, and it's great feeling to feel that global society and the Cyber Foundation support us, and we are very happy to be here. So let me start. Let me start from my presentation. Do you see it?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, great. So thank you one more time, and a few words about me. I have a 20 years experience in IT and cybersecurity, and more than 50 years in the management, and as last 7 years, I'm on charge of Ukr Telecom IT in cybersecurity and responsible for the service continuity in our company. Besides this, I have an activity as volunteer, and I'm joined Ukrainian Diabetic Federation for our digital transformation in the diabetes care in Ukraine. So, Ukr Telecom, our companies aim to bridge the country digital divide to make Ukraine one of the world's leader digital democracy. And you see our headquarters on Kyiv downtown. It's how it's look before Russian invasion starts, and this is in our office 2 weeks ago. When Kyiv was hit by a lot of missiles, and in our office, unfortunately, was affected too. So, Ukr Telecom emergency response, it's divided on a different stage, and we are happy that our field forces are working hard to continue to maintain connectivity in 87% of our territory, included some temporary occupied territories, and for all our customers. From the February of this year, when the active phase of Russian invasion started, we reestablished connection for more than 1 million people in more than 1,000 settlements around our country. And for sure, we see our social mission and our mission of our company is to provide access to information to cover basic human rights, because especially in areas where temporarily occupied and where Russian propaganda works very hard, we see that our mission to democratic news, to the information that people can see how the other world react and help Ukraine and them to fight and to be brave and stay on this situation. So back to the point about our cybersecurity field. We see a huge increasing of numbers of attack from the 2014s, where our war with Russia started. But for the last 8 months, the numbers of attacks increased dramatically, and we are now registering more or less 10 attacks each week. The longest attack for this period was an DDoS attack, which was more than 36 hours in a row. And all this period of time, our security and emergency response team was on their duty to respond and to react on each new attacks, because, as we know, usually the DDoS attack use it to cover any real or other attacks which are try to compromise our infrastructure. And one huge case, which was the biggest attack from the February on our network, it was on March 28th. It was my birthday, and I think it was a birthday present. But as a lot of people who celebrate their birthday in March, they say that the worst ever birthday party was on the 2020 when the lockdown started. But now the prize goes to U1 to 2022. And back to the point, massive cyber attack was conducted on our infrastructure. The hackers use some compromised accounts of our employees on the temporary occupied territories, and this is totally new in a cyber attack field, because they have a physical access to these users, and they can pretend or that they are activity more or less as a normal working activity of the user. And they try to discover our landscape, our application landscape, our infrastructure, working with real day-to-day activity of the users. And to compromise, finally to compromise part of our infrastructure, the hackers use a 0 day of one of our vendors. For now, it's available in a security patches from this vendor, so do not hesitate, just update and then use the latest security patches. And the biggest issue for this attack was as internet traffic monitoring companies realized that traffic on our network was dropped more or less on 19% due to the pre-attack level. So in one moment, it was my hard decision, but we are cut services for all our customers, B2C and B2B, to be ensured that the services for our military forces and other special customers are provided uninterruptedly, and this attack can't affect on them. So the latest years, the mainly used attack is the supply chain. That's why the telco is a huge target for these attacks, because we are on the middle of supply chain for all businesses and users in our country. For B2C, as I said previously, they use internet as only one source of the information and to see the different angle of view from the Russian propaganda. For B2B, as all we know, in a post-COVID era, we all dependent on the digital, on the data transfer, so the business doesn't work without connectivity or without data. And B2O, business to operator. It's interesting that in Ukraine there are more than 6,000 ISP, and they are relied on the big telcos to provide for them broadband services to operate on the small regions. And for sure, as I said previously, B2G is our government, military forces, and other. They are relied more than ever on the data on real time, because this data provide for them and pictures on the battlefield. So our company reaction, what we are doing, how we react on this. As I said, it was hard decision and we are really sorry about it, to disconnect our customers, but it's only one option to be sure that the compromised part of infrastructure doesn't affect on the other services. A huge role was played by our Western partners, who helped us to identify and to clear and to audit the part of infrastructure was compromised, and the huge focus was on communication, because communication with the different stakeholders is the key to not increase the panic in a social network, in a society, in special services, because when the network of a huge telco is cut at their services and nobody understands what is going on, the communication is the key to take everybody aware and everybody in line what is happening and what is going on. And the response of the Security Operations Center, we started our reaction and our emergency reaction plan after 50 minutes of the compromising. So we was ready and we have a clear and quick response on this situation. This help us to stay with our network and to start to restore our services in the end of the day of 28 March. So how to protect? Our few tips or our few findings from this. The first is invest in information security before it's become a crucial or before it's become an emergency case. When you in the emergency, you can spend a lot of money, but the efficiency of the spending are become a zero. So as a lot of CFO said, that's why we should to invest in information security now. We can do it in 1 year or 2 years ahead, because the last 5 years nothing happened. Investment in a team, in assets, in tools should be in a few steps ahead, because you need to be prepared to the situation. Keep up with security vendors update. For us, it was one of the, let's say, golden bullet, because the hackers tried to use the same vulnerability which they used for the other telco in Europe 2 months before, and we was updated with it. So we saw that they tried to use some vulnerabilities which was previously used on the previous attacks on different telco, and it's helped us to be a step ahead with their attack. So yeah, in the end of the day, they used a 0 day, which helps them to go further in our infrastructure, but it was not first attempt, and it's helped us to react and to be on charge with this. Educate your personnel, because the personnel and the users in a company is the biggest vulnerability, and if they are aware and if they are responsible with information security hygiene, it will help you a lot to avoid of big attacks and a big compromise situation. And implement machine learning and AI-based tools to learn about a network activity and to learn about your users' activity and customers' activity, because for us it helps when the hackers have a physical access to our users to understand that something goes wrong and the activity for the users are not similar as they behaved before. For us, it's a huge question. It's an industry regulation. I sure that each industry should have their own regulators and their own rules, and it will be easier for all players of the market in the industry if they have some, let's say, standard and regulators who will help them to be on the proper level, especially in such critical infrastructure as a telecom. And our outputs and outcome, as I said, cooperation is a key point, and communication. All stakeholders, all society should be aware what is happening, what are you doing, and what effect of your services will be. And zero trust environment. Let's say it's our topic which are covered for the last few years, but it's help you, especially on the situation like we are when some hackers or our enemies have physical access to your network, to your customers, to your users. It will help you a lot to build a zero trust environment on manage it. And maybe the last but not least, be ready to take a tough decision. In our case, to cut 90% of our customers in one moment from our services. It was hard, but it was only one way to protect our network and only one way to be sure that at the end of the day, we will recover all our services and we will provide from the next day services in a good level and we will be sure that the service is not compromised. Thank you. I will be happy to answer your question through my LinkedIn account. Feel free to connect me and ask whatever you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirill. This is very informative, and the steps you have taken to protect the infrastructure inside out, sometimes at a very expensive cost, because you didn't want your subscribers to be impacted with any compromised infrastructure. I think some of these decisions, and especially the emphasis on an environment where are building a program where the investment starts early rather than when there is an emergency. So I'm sure your success so far and success going forward is built upon these key pillars and making sure that everybody follows these. And then something that you have followed during wartime, you cannot go wrong with that, right? So I think that's the hardest lesson that you can take away from here. But for those joining us in person or online, please follow Kirill. He's very active online, and despite all the bombings, power outages, air sirens, everything that's going on, I think Kirill has maintained his professional presence and of course his contribution to all the work that's going on in protecting the cyber and the telecom infrastructure in Ukraine. So, Kirill, thank you so much. It was an honor and privilege to have you. It's great to call you as a friend. And you have a friend in this community, please let us know if there is anything that we can do and we can support you. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. And we appreciated your help and thank you for having me there. Thank you and see you.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, we'll end. Let me then introduce your time, and then you can join our program a little bit. Yeah, sure.